Miss Edna Mokaya is an experienced professional specializing in sexual and reproductive health. She holds a Master's of Public Health in SRH, a bachelor's degree in food, nutrition and diabetes, currently serving as the SRH Technical Advisor at the International Planned Parenthood Federation Humanitarian Division. Edna has extensive experience in the humanitarian sector focusing on SRH and emergencies. So moving on to our next speaker, Ms. Mokaya. So she will be talking on the psychosocial impact of menopause on women.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking at how this woman is interacting with herself and also how she's interacting with the environment, that including the people she's living with, where she's living, the economical activities that she's doing. This is a woman who was surprised, first of all, with her menses as an adolescent. She caught up with it, adjusted to that, maybe went through childbirth and bought the narrative of life starts at 40. And she's settled, she's thinking, now I'm going to have fun. The stresses of children crying around me and all that are gone. And then she's caught up with another surprise. This body you had thought that you had controlled, you can no longer control it. Why? Because you're having those erratic symptoms. There is no order. There is no formula for it. The way I will react to it is different from how the doctor will react to it. Today, I might wake up with a mood swing. Tomorrow, I am happy. Lunchtime, I am so hungry. I am eating. I am able to go downstairs 3 times a day today. But in the evening, I feel I cannot lift this leg because I have a knee pain. I cannot lift my arm to get my best dress to go for dinner because I have a frozen shoulder. I don't understand what is happening to my body. Life has changed. First, I am not aware on what it is that is happening to my body. Who do I talk to? What that gives me, I isolate myself and think, I have sold the narrative that I was this go get it all woman. I am the conqueror. And now I cannot even manage my own body. I keep to myself because I was not prepared. I was not equipped to identify that. I don't know. I just think whatever is happening, it's something happening. I don't know. I might be sent into self-judging myself and now examining myself and thinking, what did I do wrong? Did I eat wrong foods? Is it because I partied so many times? Do I have a disease that the doctors are not finding? Miserable on misery. Then you don't even know how, you don't have the patience as a woman. Your friends might notice that you have a problem. Some might not notice. The ones who notice will call you and ask what is the problem that bothers you. Why are they poking their business into my business when I don't even know what my business is? And those who are not asking because they don't know, I'm angered inside because I feel they have ignored me. That affects my relationships. And I look at work physically, I am weak. Most common, I have a brain fog. I have written things. I have been given assignment by my boss. As soon as I get out of that door, I can't even remember what I was told. And I can't even find, just a simple thing like unlocking the door because I have a password. I have a thought block. I am frustrated and wondering what is happening. This is menopause. This is something that is happening to me. So I need to calm down. I do not know how to give myself those remedies. That affects my performance at work. And that when you look at work at this point, because menopause 30, this is when most of us are managerial plus. We have ticked the boxes from junior interns, junior officers and all that. So we have this responsibility. But our brain function is this small. Nobody understands. We don't also even understand. We get frustrated. We will be taking more sick offs. It's either you will be named as you're abusing the office or she's gone crazy. Remember before, you were the smartest. You didn't require assist. You led people, you advised people, you gave solutions. Now, you are asked a question, then your own brain shames you and decides, no, this one we are not answering, and you can't. So those are things, they affect your work. You are expected to be there, but you can't. Affects your performance, might affect your pay or being retained in work, and might even affect how you relate with your co-workers and even the effort to that work because you don't have the energy. And you look at this at times at this point, menopause, most of the women are managing their old parents. So there is that burden that comes with in Africa we call it the African tax. Yeah. Like, so you have to pay back to your relatives, to anyone else who is dependent on you. Most of the time you find your parents are sick, they need support, they are in hospitals, they are, already in that social pressure you cannot handle. You might not even have those resources. Remember yesterday you took a sick off because you are sick. Today your mother is sick, she needs you. Tomorrow your father is sick because they are old and they need you to see them constantly. So it also puts that, strain on you. You might also, at this point, your children are assuming mom is experienced in all this and they are calling you, "Mommy, this boy I loved has broken my heart." And you're feeling, no, that is something you can solve. And your brain cannot understand, why is this child stressing me? Point. You don't know how to be supportive. You become irritable. You might push your children away, or your children will just distance themselves and say, she's gone bananas. If you are in a society that doesn't really have the patience, such women are condemned and put in facilities because the society or the environment around them is not supportive. So when you look at even in the health system, in the healthcare system, as they have correctly said, most women, studies have shown that they go to health facilities to try to find answers because they really don't know what is happening. Today she went for an headache. Tomorrow she's gone because she's having the pain. When she was walking out of the house, she had a pain, or she's starting to forget too much. By the time she reaches the facility, the symptoms have changed. And what has the healthcare provider tell you? No, you're not, you're not sick. You have psychosomatic issues. You're imagining sickness, because the health system also is not well prepared to identify that. Because remember, menopause takes quite a long time. You don't have to have gray hair for you to have to start menopause. It starts early. In summary, menopause affects women a lot because we know of the estrogen drop, and all our cells all over the body, we know we have so many estrogen receptors. And when they are there hoping to get something and they don't get, the cells themselves get frustrated and try to fix themselves, trying to reach out to a hormone that they cannot reach. And that's why we find this affecting us physically, physiologically, and then it affects our social life and everyone around us. Thank you.
And moving on to our third speaker, you have a very lengthy question. And what policies and programs have governments implemented to address these issues?
Thank you. I will break it into two. First, as I said, menopause, it's not a one blanket all. People get different responses, or they feel different from the other person, and something also affects them different. Symptoms appear differently, and the impact those symptoms have on them also differ according either at an individual composition as a human being, their health status, their support system, and their social cycles, and also their economic muscle, and again their educational level. How exposed are they? This is not just the school books and all that. It's health education. Are they aware of it? Are they efficient enough in themselves to manage these symptoms, because they are able to see them and then address them? Because again, you see, menopause is a process. It is a natural process that we all have to go through. How you go through it depends on if you have those factors that I have mentioned. So when I look at the issues on a global context, there are other things that also affect. Look at the culture of this person, where they are coming from, the socialization. Some communities do not talk about menopause. The simple question I have, how many here in Sri Lanka, I don't know, but I would ask, do you have a name for menopause in your local language? Do we have that? Do you have a name for menopause? Not the English. Maybe you would tell me, I don't know. So when you look at the fact from where I've come from, we don't have that. But what that comes with, it's you as a woman being condemned that you are old. So because you are old, you will have more problems, and you should accept those problems because you are old. And then you see some cultural practices put limitations on old people. So an old person cannot do certain things. This is someone who is expected to exercise, but because you are old, you can't do a lot of work. You can't do this because you are old. Other cultures limit you from eating certain foods because you are an old woman, and maybe those nutrients are the ones that would have helped you to make the symptoms mild, and there's nothing you can do about it. And because of the shame that comes with this menopause, because first, we are not accepting it as a physiological process, but instead, what are we looking at it? Oh, you are old. So when it comes to reproductive health, sexual and reproductive health, X for you. But this is not about them being old sexually. It is just the conclusion of the reproductive process. But their sexual health still continues. The sexual life should continue, but you have been condemned. So what do? You zip up and you do the self-blame, self-stigmatization. So you have those things around your socialization, your culture, your education that inform where you relate to yourself, how you take care of yourself, and what services you can access. And also it comes with health issues, because there's drop in estrogen. You are susceptible to those, as they have said, the fractures. As I mentioned, because of the so many estrogen receptors around the world, around your body, the body feels frustrated. It becomes weakened, and so you find that you're becoming sicker and, like, in quotes, more sick, and you don't know how to do with that. When you comes again, because of the sickness, you need more medical attention. What does that mean? Using more money. So economically, you need to be, because you will need that. Remember, globally, I have not seen a government that has given hormonal replacement therapy for free for women. Yeah. So you need to have that for you to be comfortable, or for you to maneuver through menopause correctly. And then when you also look at the same community, still, as much as they're condemning you to be old, still expect a certain giving back to them, because you're old, you're now responsible, you have seen it all. They will come for you for advice, and they are blind to the struggles that you're having as a human being. So there is that community burden being still placed on you, and you're expected to deliver, because as a woman, you don't deliver, we will still judge you and we will condemn you. And the other area that we are seeing also the problem, there's a change in pattern of abuse, elderly, or the women who are beyond their reproductive ages. They are physically weak, and there's a funny mindset of people who are just thinking that, yes, I will sexually abuse an old person because they don't have the strength to fight back, or it's just a fantasy they want to fulfill. And we are seeing there is a rise in abuse of women who are beyond their reproductive age, and it's a concern. And because of the weakened system in their reproductive, the protective system in their reproductive organs, we find they are also more susceptible to STIs. And now, because of their age, they cannot publicly say that, I'm sexually active and I have acquired an STI. So that the shaming and the recurrent STIs make it worse for them. And remember, at this age, yes, it's also the other times when we are seeing long-term illnesses coming up, even some cancers becoming more prominent at this. And it is expected that, you accept that. But again, if you are not well prepared, and the healthcare system is also not well prepared, you suffer more. But again, just to go back and say that these problems are more pronounced in third world countries compared to first world countries, because they are prepared and their people are informed, and they have access to this. And the second one, the policies, programs implemented by governments, we are seeing now the governments are trying to support researchers. I'm being very intentional with trying, because I'm not feeling the commitment from governments. They are trying because now the government is seeing the impact of this on the economy. We are having more people who are sick. We are having more people who are not coming to work. We are having more people who are having long-term illnesses of something. If they intervened, it will lower. So now the government are trying to see how then can we improve this, so that we don't spend more on the healthcare of these people, so that we don't lose more on these people not being able to work and not being able to support their family. And also the other policies that are now out and being campaigned is the workplace policies. We are now aware that most companies, especially in the private companies, there's a lot of campaign on menopausal leave. Yeah. So menopausal leave or menopausal allowance it's trying to be lenient to women of premenopause and menopausal age, so that if it's too overwhelming, you are allowed to take leave, or you are allowed to work short hours, or you are given lighter duties, because the system understands that it's not your fault and that leave is official. And then the other thing is also there's a lot of now public awareness, education program. People are being educated, there is information. However, it is not adequate. It is not in all languages, because if you go into the internet now, yes, everything is available. If you look at the apps, most apps are in English. How many people at that age can read English? That is also a challenge, but at least the information is there, although more needs to be done. And the government is now allowing those information researches to be disseminated, and then access to care, whether it is online or physical, it is improving. Yeah, it is improving. Honestly, we are. I'm happy that in Sri Lanka, at least there is a department that is talking about menopause. How many countries have that department? Very few. Because what do you know, in other countries, what do they call it? Those are geriatrics. It's not. It's something that can be fixed. It's something with more education we can, fix it. I am happy Sri Lanka has that. More countries, they say we have access to care only if the woman is able to know that this is what my problem is and can I have. But again, access to care that is not free, that is payable. How many women have that muscle capacity to pay? I've been in the humanitarian for so long. Any hormonal treatment is considered luxury in humanitarian situations. So you can imagine. Thank you.
And moving on to our last speaker, Ms. Mokaya, to speak on what are the key age-related issues on a global scale and how have governments responded to these issues.
Okay, thank you. I see time is not on my side, so I will just do a summary on it. Age-related issues, of course, we have demographic shift. There is a projection that in 2050, we will have a doubled number of persons under the age of 6. You can imagine what that will do to the systems, all the sectors. Yeah, so that means that we are going to have the older population will be bigger than the younger population. And then the health challenges, of course, age health challenges are there, and they are at the increase. And here we are not just talking about acute infection. We are looking at chronic illnesses. And then, of course, the economic impact. The more the sicker, in quotes, the sicker generation you have, the more draining it has to the economy, both at the health sector and even in terms of generating income back to the economy. And then also there are other things like social issues. Yeah, we know ageism is a thing. We when you are young, you are the model. As you grow older, you need to stay home. You need, there are things, there's judgment you get by just having an advanced age. They forget that you have the wisdom. And then there is the caregiving burden, because people, the elder needs support. It's both at home and also into the government institution. At home, the older people they are more sick, they are more independent on people to carry out their daily activities and all that. They might not be able to do simple things on their own. They might not need assist, either machines or people to help them do that, or they might need to be under care institution. So that also means that the government has to chip in, or the family or the community has to chip in. So that those are just some of them. And then what is the government doing? So one thing is, yes, the government has acted. That is the reality. But now we would really wish that the government commit. The UN has taken lead by developing a guideline that is called the UN Decade of Healthy Aging, 2020 to 2030. Government affirmed that. But when you go on the grassroots, is the government really doing what it is? It's just a roadmap advising governments on the simple steps that they can do to ensure that their aging population is healthy, productive, and still independent, so that they lower those things that we have. And then the other one, of course, now the government, there's the issue of the economic and pension reforms. Most governments all over the world, you can see they are touching on the pension, either increasing it or forcing everyone to be on the pension, because they want to reduce the burden on themselves. So that is a way. It's, the people who have done economics are seeing it. So you find every government is saying everyone who is employed, maybe before they would say, if you are employed and you earn below $200, that's fine, you don't have to pay. Now they are saying even if you have earned $50, you must pay, or they have reviewed the percentage because they are realizing that when they start giving you the pension, more people are going to the pension, they may need more and they may not have the money to support that. And also there's a lot of social inclusion and age-friendly environment. We are now starting to talk about aging and accepting that getting old is, everyone will get old, and as she has rightly said, it is a blessing. So we are now socializing aging and not condemning, and the government is doing a lot of that. And I remember doctors talked about educating the community and telling them about these aging processes. That means we are helping or supporting the community to accept this and also be of help. One of the things that we are also trying to do, researchers are there, and they are trying to come up with packages on SRH in a life cycle, so that from as you said, from a young stage, a young girl, a young man should know and anticipate aging is coming. And when I get there, I should be in the best state. And to be in the best state, this is what I need to do. This is what I expect. This is what I should be. This is the best shape I should be in. And then, of course, public awareness, they have said that very well. Education, media is there. One thing that has come to solve, I don't know whether to solve it or to spoil it, AI. Artificial intelligence has come to make it easy for us. But how do we use it? How do we integrate solutions, age-related issues, into AI so that it is available and workable? The other people we should also not forget, sorry to say, but there are also those people who have surgical menopause. It would be right that we force the health system, or we task the health system to support these people, because they got into menopause early and they are abandoned maybe 2 months after, and they struggle with this. So that is one area we should never forget. Some countries in the European have even remembered that there is menopause, and they have police support, yes, women in the menopause and men who their testosterone is decreasing, because them is gradual, but they still get those effects. So those are things that we can borrow and see that to make life easy for aging population. Thank you very much.